Good morning, everybody. You know what we doing. We right here with American Street Politicians. We're going to give you the business. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to talk about some topics. I would like to thank my panel for being here this morning. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
That's what's up, Sean. Good to see you again, my boy.
Brother.
Brittany, good to see you.
Good to see you.
How's everything? Trips, vacation?
Just came back from Paris, everyone.
I know you brought me something back.
I brought me back.
We have a new panel member right here, Christy Rose. How you doing?
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, good to see you on the other side. Big Cruz, what's up, my boy? Good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
Siobhan, good morning, baby. Good morning. And America, good morning to you. I am your host, Lance Gardner, and this is American Street Politicians. So we're gonna get right into it. So everybody, you know, drum roll, please. Vaccines. Vaccines, babies.
Ouch.
Anybody here vaccinated if they want to share?
Okay, I will admit I am vaccinated, but let me be truthful. I did not want to get it. I had to get it. It was a matter of, do I want to keep my job? Do I want to be able to travel? Or do I want to have to quarantine and not be able to have the opportunity at that moment that I was given? So I do have it, and it's more like we did it, so let's just see where this goes, because I'm absolutely not sure if this was the right decision. I know there's so much testing that
No twitching, no.
You know what? Thank
Bruno
God.
on the tail.
I have not. Oh, and I'm gonna cheat it because I've been so.
Are you shitting different? How is it? We want to know.
No, I thank God that I am 100% fine. I have been one of those favorite ones that have not caught COVID. Like I've not had a positive COVID test, and so. I mean, but I think that's me. I don't know if I can, thank the vaccine.
Anybody else? Anybody else vaccinated?
I unfortunately, I'm with you in the same boat. I am vaccinated because my job, they required it. And I tried to hold off as long as I could until I literally could not anymore. And then, me trying to go into the entertainment industry, it required it as well. Yeah. So I did it just because it was a necessity for my industry. But I will admit, I feel that my body is a little different from before getting the vaccination. So I know that my immune system, top notch, up to par. Nobody could beat it. You cannot mess with me. I could not get sick to save my life. Now I'm finding myself getting a little sicker and getting a cold or coming down with something every so often.
How was that hot toddy?
Oh my heavens! It cleared my sinuses, but it came right back. Yeah. I'm telling you, it did, but it cleared up for the most part. But I'm telling you, I've never been sick like this in my life until I got the vaccine.
Well, we're happy you're doing better.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, yes.
Big Cruz, how do you feel about being vaccinated and getting a vaccine by the government and things like that?
Well, anytime you bring the government into your business, into your body, into your body.
Study shows. History.
So
should we go through this again?
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
No, say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah. So, for me, it's one of the things where it brings up the whole Tuskegee, syphilis, what are they really putting in our bodies? What are they really injecting into us, And some folks may say, that's a conspiracy theorist. Well, hey, most conspiracies have a little bit of truth to it. It came from somewhere. Folks didn't just voila magic, but it came from somewhere. So it's just really, everybody being mindful of, just your surroundings and being able to do things like this with a group setting and just being safe, so just tread wise.
Sean, tell us about the vaccines, my guy. Tell us about the vaccines and being vaccinated.
We with it. Well, I'm very skeptical of a vaccine. I didn't, and I still don't believe it because there is some unanswered data that's not being presented when it comes to a death toll and when it comes to people that are getting sick and getting certain issues from the vaccine. And there are some that were pulled off the shelves. People know about Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson. Everybody's body is different. But I feel though as that when you weaponize the flu, people get confused. Where did the flu go? I don't know. So that process of over-the-counter at CVS pharmacy is done. That's like, now it's like you have to get a shot. Man. So I think that's a policy control situation that's at the higher end, population control, like she was saying, and I understand people that did it. I don't think nothing, no wish, no ill will or nothing. I hope they beat whatever, and I hope nothing ever happens, but it's just something that didn't resonate with me when it came about. Dude, you can have a false positive and a negative.
I accepted my fate. I'm like, look, if we turn into zombies, I'll be zombies.
No zombies.
I just finished Walking Dead and it was a tearjerker.
I honestly have like different views on the vaccine because I was forced to get the COVID vaccine, but at the same time the chickenpox vaccine and the flu vaccine, as a child I had the chickenpox. I wish I would have had the vaccine so I didn't get that. I didn't want to go through that. That was horrible. It sucked.
What, chickenpox?
Yeah.
I remember the chickenpox.
And like now that I've had that, now that I have that virus in me, I'm more obligated in order to get shingles when I get older, But when I got the flu shot, I got horribly sick, and I didn't want to go through that. So like, I swear that there's pros and cons to every vaccine, and I think it's because the government is pushing this COVID vaccine so hard that's why everyone's freaking out.
Correct.
But if they're just like, hey, we found this new virus, here's something that could potentially stop it, it probably wouldn't have had the biggest freak out as it did.
Well, the vaccines, I have not been vaccinated. I really don't agree with it. I definitely don't feel like I should be forced to have to do it for any type of business to make money for a living for myself. I definitely don't agree with that. So I don't know. I just hope, I don't have to get to the point to where, I'm forced to have to make those decisions, but I ain't trying to get it done. I ain't getting it done. I've heard some very bad cases, a lot of cases that if you have like lung issues, like let's say you have asthma, you grew up with asthma, and then you go get vaccinated, it could be a problem. And I was an 80s baby with asthma, so I'm like, I ain't about to put nothing into me to kick me off my gear that because I'm already like in gear. I'm cool right now. And then I get this, and I don't know, it may shift me in a whole nother direction. My body or something. I just can't take that type of risk.
It definitely caused me to have asthma attacks after I got it.
Okay, see, exactly. So that's the way of having people don't understand that they would say, oh, you have diabetes. Oh, you have a chronic whatever. You have this. But if you don't take this, if you get sick, this is the chances of you passing away and not walking out of the hospital. See, then that's not cool.
That's what they was pronouncing people dead and they still was alive and coming back. Like, come on.
Everything was a scare tactic.
Like, what?
Right.
Everything was COVID. It was like reason of death, COVID.
Someone dies of a heart attack, COVID.
Yeah, it was. Come on now. And
it's the truth. He went in, he bumped his head.
You had a heart attack, COVID. Ma'am, you didn't need to come for them like that, but you did.
She did.
I mean, everything is COVID now. You got dangerous. Oh, you have COVID. Like,
shot, jab.
So listen, America.
Okay.
If you have any questions, if you want to chime in, if you want to talk about it, tell us your experience. We want to hear about it. We want to let the people know as well. So please DM us at American Street Politicians. You can email us at streetpoliticianstv@gmail.com. Again, vaccines. Get it how you live.
If you live.
You're not a zombie at that point.
I knew it was a problem when they said they were giving people money.
Don't bite nobody. You better start
Oh
biting
yeah,
nobody.
it ain't got bad. It ain't got bad.
It was like the lottery.
Hold
All
on,
right.
girl.
So moving right along, everybody. You know we're gonna keep it interesting and keep it
Let's go.
juicy. So right now, drum roll, please. School system. The school systems. How do you feel about grade schools? You know, elementaries of today, middle schools of today, high schools of today. The diversity, the poverty, the privilege. You know, all of that. Anybody?
Well, I know since it's only been like 5 years since I've graduated high school. That makes me sound so young.
I see a little wet behind the ears.
Yeah, it's only been It's only been about 5-6 years since I've graduated from high school, and I definitely know kids nowadays are still doing the same math, the same English, the same science, learning the exact same way I did 5 years ago. And I was like, why don't we update our policy? Why don't we like teach the kids the way that they best learn? You know, like you can't. There was a quote that always said, "You can't teach a goldfish to climb a tree and expect it to pass." And like, I don't know. I just think that the school systems has stayed the same in so many years that it's not going anywhere. It's not really helping anyone.
I feel like it done changed a whole lot. I looked at some of them kids' math problems. I was like, what?
Hey, them kids' math problems, they be crying.
I was like, what is
Get
this?
anxiety. I'm just gonna get
I got problems looking at this.
I'm like,
Go to the internet.
like, what in the
Who's your
world?
friend today?
You had to do all of that to get to that when you could have just did that 2 steps.
Yeah, show your work.
2 steps to get your answer.
Now you gotta show your
So
work.
now you got a whole pyramid scheme right here. You got a whole pyramid scheme to get to 8.
A pyramid.
Answer 8. Right? What? But
Oh my gosh.
Brittany.
You're right, pyramid schemes. When it comes to the school system, I think that it's very interesting because I think that honestly, I think that it's changed in some way, but other ways I think that it hasn't necessarily changed. Like, I believe that when it comes to the education system, yes, it has changed to where it is more intricate and it's more in depth, but sometimes I feel like it puts so much pressure on these kids that they come home and they are now developing anxiety because you cannot treat or teach a goldfish how to climb a tree if they don't have the proper equipment for it. So I feel that it's a standard way that they teach and they expect everybody to get it, and it doesn't matter if you succeed or not, they just get paid for your bottom being in that chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's hurtful because we want to see our kids succeed because they are our future. But right now they're not succeeding with this anxiety and having this depression because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Okay. B. Cruz?
Well, I like climbing trees.
Okay.
You have the equipment for it.
Thank you. Find me at the top of the tree, anytime. With an apple.
Right.
But the school systems, man, I kind of fear for all of the children that are in that curriculum right now because, for example, there's other countries that they don't teach what we teach, but they're ahead of us.
This is factual.
So that's a broken system to me.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we to get ahead and properly teach adequate, not only individuals, but adults? Everyone that's in school right now is at some time going to be a part of this country that's supposed to be functioning at a high level. How's that going to happen when they're, how does that match up?
Mm-hmm.
So when you bring in folks from other countries and now we're America, the superpower, the super leader, now what happens? So even the students right now, some of them did not go back to school. For me being a community leader, activist, there's some parents that they don't want their children going back to public school or even private school because they got so adjusted and accustomed to being at home and learning under that system. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? It worked, and they didn't want to, break the mold.
Sean, you have kids.
Yeah. I think the education system is actually broken, and if you don't change the structure, like when you discussing in other countries and things of that nature,
Yes.
and if you alter history by not telling the truth, then people are going to be confused. So then we'll be coming to these tables like this and having these type of conversations. And then when it comes to the electronics, when the COVID hit, when you have a child sitting inside of a house for about 6 months to a year on a computer that never experienced that, just basically in various classes, and then you got adults doing it, then you got everybody losing their jobs, and then you want to kick back up the educational system, like start back where it's at, and underpaying the teachers. It's got a lot of work to do.
Also, too, some of these students, they sat out so long. What grade are they in now?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
Because
like,
some of them did not have the necessity, like the
Correct.
tools, the
Correct.
computers
I'm
to
just-
actually go online to
They
do their
couldn't
homework.
afford it. They had this food, lights,
And
gas. What do you,
exactly, going back on what
back
Ron and
codes.
Chris said, like
Hello.
in different countries they have different education systems and they're ahead of us, but at the same time in other countries they don't have to pay for their schooling. So is American schooling just all about the money?
Right, I got that.
100%.
But that also, not to interrupt, but also there are when you have the G6, G7, the NATO, the situation that goes on and help out for us as America pays certain subsidies or what you want to call it, benefits to other countries. So when Trump got in there, he cut all of that. So those people that were behind, just imagine what the government is going through right now
Yeah.
when it comes to the educational system, to where you can't be able to get that. Now you got FEMA. Now they taking money from people, just trying to move along with their kids, and now they got to go from limb. So it's just so broken that where it shouldn't have to be limb, and you know better.
Shaquan?
I feel, well, I don't have any children, so I'm not really sure what's going on in the system at this moment, but I know that it's a lot of teachers, they're not appreciated.
For
They're not getting what they need in order to grow that next generation. I was fortunate enough to have some teachers that really cared, that I felt really showed me love and wanted to see me achieve, but a lot of kids don't have that.
So, what about, sorry to cut you off, but that brings me to my next subject, really. What about like the kids that they consider bad or unruly or, they can't control? Because I know a lot of teachers are getting out of education
Yeah.
just because of
those-
the kids are so
Yeah.
Those
bad.
kids who are bad or unruly, they'll just stick them in another classroom and say, oh, they can't be helped. We'll just stick them over here and put this teacher with them. Hopefully they can handle their aggression.
For me, this one hits a little harder because I grew up in foster care, and so I dealt with unruly people, the bad kids, and I don't think it was necessarily fair for them to be labeled bad. They are just basically misguided because you don't know what goes on in their daily life, and they don't have anybody to talk to. So because they're acting out, it's because they need that love, they need that attention, they need somebody there, they need to know that it's going to be okay, but instead you want to categorize them as one thing, label them as another, and then they're in a classroom where a teacher just does not give a crap. They're just there for that paycheck. They're going to give you an assignment, and if you pass or fail, they do not care. So for me, it makes me sad because I feel that they are just misguided. They are not bad, and you do have kids that are excessive, and to me that's where it comes in with the parents. For example, the teacher that got shot by the 6-year-old at school. That is a very hot topic at the moment, but it's like, who do you come for? The child or the parents who gave the child or allowed him to have access to the weapon? Do you blame the child or do you blame the adults? So it's misguiding.
And that's another thing too.
NRA.
That's another thing too. So even being safe at school, I remember, for example, being at school when 9/11 happened. And it's like, okay, well, now you never know what can happen because there's so many school shootings that it's a regular occurrence now. So safety wise.
And like, again, with like she said, the teachers don't, like, do the teachers even care? Because kids get bullied every day, and when they go to the teachers or when they go to the counselors like, oh, I can't really do anything unless I see it. And so then the kids have to deal with that on their own, and it's like, okay, when did we stop caring and just start forcing these kids to try and learn all this stuff?
I think it starts from the top, from, the parents, the principals, the staff, the council, it starts with that in the education system. So if you see the dynamics of that to where it's not working, then there's going to be setbacks. So it's almost like a budget cut, but they forget about the educational part of it. I said this to a friend of mine. I said, all the games they play, these Roblox and Minecraft, all these games, and they know all these little how to log in and all this. I said, why don't they take the educational system and make those modules on those games to where they reach a certain level?
Wow.
To where if you want to play this game? Okay, we're going to match this coinciding with this curriculum with you in 5th and 6th grade.
My boy got knowledge, y'all.
So then,
Right.
so when you do that, then you say, oh wow. So then it could be a credit to where it moved to the next level, to where it's like almost an advance. Because you're paying attention maybe to the game, but more so it's stimulating your mind to, I got to get to that next level. So, I remember this is what Mrs. Johnson taught in the class the other day. Let me go ahead and get this and match that, get that. Then she sees that. So somewhere you tie the games to the school education system.
Yeah, you teach the kids the way that they're best
Yeah.
able to
Well,
learn.
yeah. But I'm saying, all of them relate to everything when it comes to the electronics and the games because they're all playing it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, some way they got to be able to take that and link that to that. I was just saying, and to gain credits to be able to, to continue on the kids' education to like just like going over summer school, you get extra credit. So now you're a step higher. You graduate early.
Very smart, very wise. We just have to make sure it's available in the schools because
have to
not every child has access to
Something that could be
computers and
lobbied
electronics.
off, and it could be, written up, you know what I mean, to where they write it off, see what it's about. See, that's when you vote on certain things and props, to pass things
That
like
actually make a difference in this world, because some props don't mean nothing.
Right.
There you have it, school system. Please let us know what you think. We want to know. DM us on Instagram, email us, please. School system, because that's a very important topic, and kids are growing up every day, and they start with how good their education is going to be for this world. So, next topic. Everybody ready? Drum roll, please. Homelessness. Housing. Now, we're here in LA.
Lord.
It costs a lot.
We're here in City of
The
Angels.
rent is too darn high.
It's too hot.
Nice.
So we have quite a bit of homelessness, going on here. So any experience, Christian Rose, you're probably the one that's kind of just moved here, not before everybody else, after everybody else. So
Yeah.
How was your experience when you got here?
Definitely seeing the amount of homelessness from where I came to where I am now was definitely a big shock, because I was like, oh wow, back home you don't see this.
Wow.
You, in the small town that I came for, we have shelters that people can go to. We have, places that people who can't afford housing can go to for a while, who can, get sober if they need to, get clean if they need to. I mean, yeah, there are rules that you have to follow in these houses, but, it's there to help, and I was like, that's a really cool system. And then I moved here, and I was like, whoa, there's so many homeless camps around here. It was just a really shock, and like, with my job, I see people come in every day who are homeless, and they're just like, hey, can I get a cup of coffee with my food stamps?
Brittany?
Wow. I'll start crying. It makes
Cry.
me so sad.
That's good TV.
Okay.
I
I'm just an emotional wreck. When it comes to homelessness, it of course makes me very sad, because I feel that it should not be a thing, realistically. I was actually speaking to my neighbor the other day who is from Iran, and he was telling me in his home country that homelessness doesn't exist. He says that the government provides for them and helps them out and gets them on their feet, and they make sure that they provide for the family. If, let's say his family couldn't afford to keep him, they would help out. So it was just government assistance all around. And then you come to America and you see that the government just does not give a crap. And I noticed that in NoHo, there is this camp for homelessness, and it was houses that were built, but this took years to even generate, years to even come up with in order for it to be in effect. And I feel that those houses, that encampment, should be all around LA, not just in one spot. And you should have somebody going around passing out flyers or making it accessible for people to know about these items that they have for you, for a home or a place to stay, food, etc. But they don't have the resources. So
I mean, what about all the empty buildings? What about all the empty strip malls?
you already know the government wants to use that for profiting. They want to build houses, or they want to build studios or malls so that they can have money in their pocket and they won't do anything about the homelessness.
You were saying the ship thing. Well, I think it would be something kind of wrong with that. People would start, the chemicals, the steel, all that stuff. I mean, I don't know what they use that for, but yeah, I just feel though, it's bad. It's not. It shouldn't be what it is, and it shouldn't be nobody on these streets, on these corners at all. Nobody. I don't care. If you could build a stadium for $5 billion and have a baseball team and a soccer team, and you got all this money, it don't take that much. On the lottery, like something like that, take a little bit out of that, and put it over there and clean up the streets and
make some
tiny
houses.
It helps. So if if the city's not doing it, if the state's not doing it, and the federal government's not doing anything, and it's just like, then we're gonna continue on. It's gonna grow. There's ways. 70 degree weather in LA, yes, you can be homeless. I'm just giving props on that area, because you can't do that nowhere else to have 4 seasons.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you got to look at the measures of that when it comes to different states. You know what I mean? So you're going to see that the numbers higher in a place that has 70 degree weather all day long.
So you're saying because different states have a different climate, it's okay for them to actually use their resources to help others, versus California, which has beautiful weather.
No, I'm saying it's a choice that a person can.
They would rather do it here
because it's
than
warmer.
do it in Montana.
Right.
Because of weather conditions, you can be in a tent and chill.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're still using resources to do something about it
absolutely
is my
100%
point.
correct. That you have to have the resources no matter what the weather is.
Exactly.
But I'm saying in California, you're going to see more of people more susceptible to be able to go to that liquor store, to go to the liquor store each corner. So it's going to allow them to continue to keep on perpetuating that homelessness. And they get that GR, they get comfortable. They don't want to. Then it's like, no, you have to. That's why you can't. Your income. There's a way with the system that you have to be able to be at a certain level. So if you want to get to that level, there's certain things that you have to sacrifice, and then you have to say, I don't want to go that route no more. So, and if you want to go be, you're in a system situation, then that's how it be. But
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
As I was saying before it all ended, or whatever happened, it would be a beautiful thing if we could fix this problem. I actually am a part of a group, an organization called Feed the Streets. Now, we don't provide shelter, but we do provide resources for shelters or motels that will accept you and house you for the night if need be. Shelters that provide clothing and resources, to get you on your feet. And we give food and blankets. So I try to do my part, but I feel like there's so much more that could be done.
Right.
There is, like I said, those small homes for the homelessness, I wish we could give those to everyone on the street.
Yes.
Like, no one should be able to say, I don't have a home.
Exactly.
Yeah. What I've noticed, LA really offer a lot to the homeless. You know, like Sean said, to where it's so much that they might get in a little rut, or they might get stuff. Okay, well this is good enough because I know I'm gonna get this package again next month, so I just let this stretch till next month. You know, but I do feel like for the ones that really want to get off the streets, it's ways, it's avenues, it's programs and organizations that's there for them, and a lot of people do take advantage of it. But then there's a lot who just get stuck and be like, I'm cool with this, I'ma chill, make this happen, you know, pillar the post or whatever. So you got the ones that it happens by mistake, and then you got the ones that's be like, well, I'ma just stay here because I'm comfortable. You know, if you want the help is there. It should be no reason why you want to be on the streets living like that. They hiring, it may not be the job you want, but if you even can do it for 6 months to a year and then you got some type of shelter on your own, I think that's better. You know, so I just feel like it's 2023, things happen, people fall homelessness for all kind of different reasons. But it's avenues to get you up out of that.
Right.
It's enough caring people in this world that don't want to see you like that give you paperwork, put you on a list, do this and do that. So I just feel like if you homeless and you just kind of really want to be there.
I mean, there's also some people who don't have the knowledge for it.
Yeah, mental health is also...
Yes.
Right.
It's a whole lot of stuff going on with that. You know, mental illness, you know. Not knowing, I'm not really sure about that because...
let me say this.
Let's
say I'm homeless, God forbid, but let's say I'm homeless and I don't have a phone.
Right.
And I don't have a car. I only have the clothes on my back and maybe a few extra things. Where do I go? I'm not gonna just, hey, can you help me? Because you, maybe not you, but somebody could think, ew, get away from me. Go figure it out on your own. So how is it that I am supposed to find the resources or find the building that will help me? Somebody who will guide me to get into this establishment so that I can.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you my story. Okay. My story of homelessness for 11 months when I first moved to LA. I came here with a family member. We had these plans and everything, but when we got here, their plans changed. And then I was just out here like basically just got followed. So then they ended up moving to San Bernardino. That wasn't a plan for sure. I didn't move all the way from Louisiana to move to San Bernardino. Didn't know much about San Bernardino, just know that wasn't where I was supposed to be at. Right. Things happen, family issues happen, you know, so I decided to leave before it escalated it into something that I just didn't come to California to do. You know what I'm saying? I got on the train, I made it to LA. I probably only had less than $100 in my pocket, just enough to get the train ticket to get to LA. Once I hopped off the train, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't tell my mom or my dad what was going on because I said, I'm a man, I'm gonna figure it out.
Right.
I opened my mouth. Hey, I got bags, I got luggage. Where do I go? What do I do? I'm reading some signs. Now I'm one of the ones that ain't really challenging on no mental things, so that I can't do that. That's a whole nother topic. My issue is I was homeless. I slept on the streets, the boxcars, the trains, wherever I could. Now, one thing I did know for sure is that I had to keep a job. So although I was homeless, I was going clock in for somebody, bringing my luggage, everything I had, putting it in the break room. It got me fired a lot of times because being tired, being homelessness, you know what I'm saying, doing all that. But I went, I found, I taught, you know what I'm saying? I made a way for myself. I figured out what I needed to do to get to where I needed to be. It took damn near 11 months, but I got it. I got sick. We brought up the shingles and all that stuff. I caught that being homeless. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no joke. But I'm looking to, again, say that I didn't have like a mental condition. I didn't have no medical issues. You know, I did what I had to do. I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know what to Google. I didn't know what to put in, but I knew how to read, walk, and talk to people. And I made it. I was one of the ones who didn't want to stay there. You know, get the GR, get the food stamps.
Right.
I had to get all of that,
Right.
but I knew I didn't want to stay on all of that.
So,
You know?
So perfect example how you said getting all those resources. So for myself, I worked in the VA hospital around all of these resources that, yeah, this is a program,
Right,
but how do you qualify for that program? And all of this money over here, but you're not a war victim, so you can't get that money. So just like how you said, there are individuals who they choose to be homeless on purpose. Why? They don't want to pay bills. They don't want to turn on lights. And for example, also, if you was in Vietnam for a year and you slept outside in the rain, in the mud, your body is trained to be outside in the mud.
Right.
So you in California, outside in the mud at the beach, hey, I better be at the beach than in Vietnam getting shot at.
Right.
So, but also when you see these individuals, me being a case manager and having a caseload, everybody was different. Some folks, I got kids, hey, how do I do this? You know, I want to be on this track to be able to do this. Or for some folks, hey brother, I'm gonna come in, stay here for about 3 days, you're gonna find some dope on me, and you're gonna kick me out. I already know what's gonna be, but I'm gonna play the game. I'm untrainable at this point. A 58-year-old man that's a war veteran, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And at that point in time, he's getting it how he lives. And at that point in time, he's just, you know what, hey, this is my life. And there is no direction. And you just really pray for those individuals and their families, because some of them don't have families.
Right.
So it's all kind of different scenarios. I believe that everybody's story is different, but one thing for sure, that there are caring people out here who are willing to help and guide the homelessness in the right direction. If you don't know something, ask. Don't be afraid. You know. I believe you don't get nowhere in life if you don't open your mouth and manifest it. Let somebody know what you're interested in and what you need. You know. So prayers go out to everybody who's suffering like that, and know that American Street Politician, we love you, baby.
All day long.
Can't stay with me, but we love you. Nah.
I remember when I first became homeless when I was 17. I was 2 weeks into my brand new job at Subway, and I walk in there with my bike, and my bag's attached to my bike, and my duffel bag on my back, and my coworker looks at me, she's like, what happened? I was like, I just got kicked out. I have no place to go. I don't know anyone around here. And my grandmother just kicked me out. And she's like, well, where are you going to sleep? I was like, I don't know, probably right out there.
Hey.
Went into the parking lot. I was like, I have nowhere else to sleep. And she stayed until my shift was over. And she walked me over to the hotel across the street. And she put $274 down for me to have a room for 2 nights. And I told her,
Bless that lady.
I told her, I was like, I'm going to do everything to pay you back. She's like, this is my money. I paid for my kids. My husband paid for it. We have clothes on our back. We have food on our table. This is my money. You don't pay me back. And because of her, I was able to not sleep on the street that night. You know, not get sick. And I thank her every day. So I try to do my best when I see homeless to help them out.
All right. Well, we're going to end it on that, America. Again, good morning to you. We love y'all. Hit us up. Let us know if there's anything that you want us to talk about. You got any ideas or something you want to say, something about the topics that we just discussed or our past and stuff. So, America, have a good day.
All right.
Good day.
Street Politics, baby.
Bye.
Cheers.
Peace.